Welcome to Fantasy Football Court. We are four regular guys talking all things fantasy football. Unlike some other shows, we only talk about fantasy football. We make our arguments, we present our cases, and you are the judge. We are all in the same fantasy football league. The people are real, the league is real, and the trash talking is real. Court is now in session. All right, welcome again to Fantasy Football Court. We hope you enjoy today's show. My name is Charles.
My name's Andrew.
This is Nick.
And my name's Jeremy.
Today we're going to put the Cleveland Browns on the stand. We're going to cross-examine them and question them and look at all things Cleveland Browns. First of all, we're going to get an overall consensus from each of us of what we think about the Cleveland Browns. And for this time, I'm going to start with Andrew.
I'm scared of Cleveland Browns, just like we were on the Jets a couple episodes ago. There's nothing that really stands out to them. They have Osweiler.
Yes.
You just glad because he's not at Houston anymore.
Just because he's not at Houston no more, he's not going to mess up anything there. So there's nothing that really stands out other than I'm scared. So
This is just another one of those teams that you can't get excited about. You don't seem to have any players that you really want to get on your team. It's kind of one of the teams I'm going to stay away from unless certain players fall to me late in the draft and you're just forced to take them. Nick?
Isaiah Crowell. That's all I got.
Jeremy?
You got two players in there, one that I take fairly early, I guess, so to speak, and then one that's a late round flyer that I hope, and that's really it.
All right, we'll get into those here in the next few moments. We'll start out with the quarterback. You know, that's the person that handles the balls, the one that decides who gets the ball, who he's going to throw it to, and it's the one that really dictates the quality of the team. And I don't know who's going to start for this team. I know they picked up Brock Osweiler, and I don't know if he's going to be the starter. I don't know if one of these other guys, Kessler or Kaiser, is going to do anything, but I'm going to start out with Jeremy on this one and see what he thinks of the quarterback.
Browns and the Jets have the two worst quarterback situations in the NFL. I don't even care if they come out today and said, this player is going to start every game this year. He's going to be our player at quarterback. This is who we're sticking with no matter what. Even if they did that and named any of those three players, I'm still not interested.
I got you. Nick?
I think it's going to be Cody Kessler at the end of the season. I think you might see Deshaun Kaiser late in the season when see how he progresses. They put a lot of money in the offensive line, so a young quarterback, they need to protect him. So we'll see if a good offensive line can help a young quarterback progress. And maybe late in the season, maybe one of the young quarterbacks comes through and is producing.
Yeah, I just don't really have too much of an opinion on the quarterback position. I don't like any of them. Andy?
wish Johnny Manziel's back. At least it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I think nobody's going to draft the Cleveland Browns quarterback, even as a backup. So we're going to go ahead and pass on that. I think we're all in agreement on that. The next position, and it looks like they're going to be another team that runs by committee, is the Cleveland Browns. And Nick, who would you think would be the leading running back out of this group?
I love Isaiah Crowell this year. I have him as a top 10 running back this year. I think he can go in the second round. The middle of the second round is where I have him going.
He's currently being drafted the 15th running back overall.
Yeah, I have him 10, but I haven't updated my rankings. I could probably put him as high as 8.
Wow.
I love the money they put in that offensive line. They're going with a young quarterback. They're going to rely on the run game. You're going to see a lot of Isaiah Crowell. You'll see some Duke Johnson in passing situations, but it's going to be mostly Isaiah Crowell. And with that offensive line, I think he has potential to have a great year.
Do you think it's less committee than it has been in the past?
I think so.
To draft him that high, you have to believe it's less committee.
I don't understand how you get the committee thing from it. Last year, Isaiah Crowell got 68% of the team's rushing touches and 48% of the runing back receiving targets.
Yeah,
how do you consider that half of the receiving catches?
But what about the rushing?
And almost 68% of the rushing touches.
That's borderline committee, but I get what you're saying.
I'm a little surprised that he carried the rock.
He has a significant advantage.
And it's probably because it was the Cleveland Browns that stat didn't really stand out as much.
Right.
Last year he had 40 catches, 319 yards, had over 900 yards rushing. They've got a better offensive line out there. I absolutely think. I don't have him in round 2, but round 3, if he's there, I'm taking him.
So you pass on him in round 2, but pick him round 3. You take him in round 2. Huh?
I'd take him no doubt about it.
I don't know if I pass on him in round 2, but in round 2 I feel like that's a little bit of a reach.
There's other running backs that you might take.
Round 3 I'm comfortable. Round 2 I may take him, but round 3 I'm
He
more
was the
comfortable.
14th best running back in fantasy last year. He had 7 touchdowns, and with the improved offensive line, I think he can get over 10 touchdowns this year.
Andy, any thoughts on Crowell?
I'm not high on him. I'm just scared. I mean, mainly because of the team he's on. I know there's been improvements, but I don't know that I take him that early. I think there's other guys I take a chance on first.
A few years ago, what, 4 years ago, wasn't we scared of Arian Foster with the Houston Texans? And what did Arian Foster do?
The
Had
only
the
thing
best
that was
running back.
scared me is stacking the box. Is on him because he is
Their quarterback
weapon.
is
And
so.
depending on how the season goes, I think we see a little bit more of Duke Johnson than what you're
About to
anticipating.
say,
I think so.
if they stack the box,
I think you're going to see more of both of them, but I
That's
think
what
you're
I
going
was
to
about to
see
say.
more production from both of them. So, but I think it's going to be more toward Isaiah Crowell, but you're going to see both of them get more.
I think that if they stack the box, they'll put Duke Johnson in with Isaiah Crowell,
Yeah.
and run Duke Johnson in kind of a split end type spot there, where you could get some jet sweep action, some tosses, some things
And
like that.
Another one is like we'll get to the tight ends later, but David Njoku, he's the one that I think they might could rely on a lot in the receiving game.
But because of the wide receivers and quarterback, I mean, it's going to put a lot of pressure on those running backs.
It is. Oh yeah. If this position fails this team, they're in trouble because they don't really have anything else going for them.
Well, they get. I think you see with the Jets and Browns the possibility, and I know this is the one thing that's never talked about in the NFL, but I think toward the end of the year you could see the Jets and the Browns intentionally tanking to try to get next year. Probably, in my opinion, next year could be the best quarterback draft class that we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
And I can see both of these teams, in the
And
Browns
they both
and the Jets,
they both need a quarterback.
tanking horribly to try to get a quarterback next year in the top 2 or 3 picks.
Well, I don't- I don't think either one of them-
Deshaun Kaiser, with that offensive line, improves a lot. I think they might tank, but I mean he's got 1
But
year
by
to prove
tanking,
himself.
I think that means they just turn around and hand it to their running back Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson 150,000 times a game, and whatever happens, happens. And the good news is in fantasy football, average yards per rush doesn't count. If he touches the ball 100 times and only gets 1 yard each time he touches the ball, that's still 10 points for 100 yards rushing.
Right. All right. And I don't guess y'all see any of the other running backs playing any. Darius Jackson. Y'all don't see him doing anything.
I don't see anything.
Maybe George Atkinson every once in a
Well, Duke Johnson right now is being taken the 46th player overall, and we've already discussed Isaiah Crowell is already the 15th. Let's look at now at the wide receivers. I'm going to start with, who did I go to last? I'll start with Jeremy on this one.
Corey Coleman, Kenny Brett. But because the quarterback play makes me nervous, I wouldn't take either one of them unless they fail to rounds 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
Even then, I don't know that I want any Cleveland receivers. Nick, you got any thoughts on
Yeah,
receivers?
Corey Coleman. I don't buy Kenny Brett. It's Corey Coleman, and that's it. I mean,
No Ricardo Lewis at all.
no. I think it's Corey Coleman, and that's it. And I think you're going to probably maybe around 10th, 11th round. You're going to look at him and you might can take a shot on him, but the quarterback's going to be hurting him a lot. But I think he's a talented receiver.
I don't see any of those top 3 guys standing out above anybody else, and I'm definitely not drafting anybody from Cleveland's wide receiver core.
Is Josh Gordon off the team? Y'all know this? No?
He's still suspended by the NFL.
So he can't play
I
this
think
next
he
year.
is. I think he is suspended, from what I understand, indefinitely.
Yeah, they could.
They were going to bring him back
Yeah.
last year, but
He's got a reinstatement petition out. I don't know what happened with it.
But they don't know. It doesn't seem like he cares to
Now,
come
but
back.
if Josh Gordon can play, I will take Josh. Not early, but if, let's say he's got this appeal thing going and there's a chance that he could be reinstated, I'll take him last. I'd take a flyer on him. Because Josh Gordon
The last
has
one-
the ability to be a.
The last reinstatement he was denied, so I don't know.
I don't see him coming
Do we
back.
really look at this NFL commissioner that we have right now as a commissioner of second chances and love and grace and mercy?
Doesn't seem to.
Not really. So I would
And they're
not
coming
hold
down
out
pretty
hope.
hard on him. Yeah, they definitely are. And if you're an NFL player, act right, straighten up, quit acting stupid.
He's the Browns have kept him though.
Yeah, he's still, that's what I'm saying. That's why I know.
Well, he's under contract and they don't have to pay him. Why release him?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we're going to move on from the woeful wide receivers, and we're going to look at some tight ends. And I don't know that we're looking at much either with that. Nick, I'll start with you on this one.
I actually like the tight
agree.
end this year. I like David Njoku a lot this year. With a young quarterback, what they do, throw to the tight end. And with him being a rookie tight end, a good receiving tight end, he's somebody that you can look at, and probably a top end tight end too. I have him around 15 mark, and I think he's going to be a real
That's
weapon
high.
this year.
That's way too high.
I hate agreeing with Nick as much as I am, but
Y'all are both wrong.
Njoku is probably the second best rookie tight end,
He will not finish in the top 20 this year.
and
He will not finish in the top
I don't-
20.
He will in targets though.
I disagree.
He might
I think he'll have the targets. I think he'll have the yards and receptions.
He had
He's gonna get most of the
64. He had
targets.
64 catches at Miami with 1,060 yards. and
This
that's
is the
in
National
2
Football
years.
League. This isn't Pee Wee. This is the big boys. I don't see. He doesn't have the quarterback. He doesn't have the teammates around him. I just do not see him producing
I think they're
at the
gonna,
elite level.
I just think they're going to rely on him a lot.
Now they may rely on him, and
Yeah,
if they do, if Nick is right, if they rely on him, he has some value.
For him to be a great tight end, all he has to do, or maybe not a great, let me rephrase that, a solid tight end is get 5 catches a game with 40 to 50 yards.
40, 50 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't even know if he gets that.
You drafted Gary
Gary
Barnidge
Barnidge
last
last
year in the
year.
9th round.
Yeah, 9th round. I took a chance on Barnidge, and he scorched me because he's with the Cleveland Browns. Don't take a tight end from the Browns. Learn from me. Don't do it. Don't take this
You don't
guy.
take
listen to
Barnidge.
him.
You don't take Barnidge with the Cleveland
No,
Browns.
you
I
don't
think-
take any tight end with the Cleveland
I think
Browns.
I,
He
I'm
doesn't
not-
finish
I'm
in the
not
top
real high
20.
on this guy, but I think he's going to do a lot better than Barnidge, and he's going to see some.
He doesn't finish in the top 20.
He's going to
So,
passes.
you want to do some sort of wager on him not finishing in the top 20?
We'll put a Snickers bar on it. We'll think of
Because
something.
I
We had to do
absolutely
something a little bit
think
more embarrassing.
there's no way he does not outside of
I don't
injury. I will say outside of injury.
Oh no,
there's-
that's all included.
There's
You
no
know?
way. There's no
All right.
way that he doesn't.
Here's
finish
the
in top
wager.
20.
If Jeremy's
agree
willing to do
100%.
this, if he finishes inside the top 20, I have to wear underwear on my head for one of the shows next year. If he's outside the top 20, Jeremy's got to wear a pair of underwear on his head. Are you willing to take the bet?
Only if I can pick the underwear if you wear it.
Oh no, I ain't wearing no pink panties. I ain't gonna. All right, we'll see what we can come up with, but it'll be something embarrassing. And we'll have a few of those as the season goes on. We'll have debates and arguments about what we think will happen, but we're willing to put little wagers on it. All right, they're a little higher on him than me. Do y'all draft him?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. I guess you do too. I'm surrounded by idiots, but
But
anyway.
look at this.
I don't want to hear it.
You're not the idiot.
Come on, man.
Last year,
Look at
round
this.
16, we took Ladarius Green. In 17, did we have any other tight ends?
Zach Miller.
Zach Miller.
He
I
does
think
not even-
that he is as in that same. He's got to be in the same amount of bargain. Charles Clay at 16 last year.
Do not
Jared
draft this
Cook.
sucker in your league. Don't take him. Let somebody else.
Comes
Let
from the
somebody
guy
else
that missed
pick
the
him.
playoffs.
Hey, when he's
last
a
year, basically.
top 10 tight end next year, you'll be thanking us.
No, not gonna happen. All right, let's move on to the defense. What do y'all think of the Cleveland Browns? I mean, let me guess. Y'all think it's a top tier defense that should be taken within the first 3 picks since y'all so high on this tight end?
I think their front seven's good, but the back secondary's got issues after issues. I do not buy Drill Peppers, and Joe Hayden is a good corner, but I mean he's on an island by himself. They re-signed Kirksey. They got I'm blanking on his name, Jamie Collins from New England, and they got Ogba and the number 1 pick this year. From Texas A&M,
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett.
So,
All them pass
they've
rushers.
done some things to improve their defense.
They have a lot of pass rushing weapons this year, but that secondary still has a lot of issues.
So do you think that you said you're high on their front seven?
Yeah,
Do you think that Cleveland massively overhauled their front seven?
I think the only thing they had last year was Danny Shelton and Ogba. So they added Jamie Collins, Caleb Brantley, and who was the other guy?
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett.
All who are mainly pass rushers,
Yeah,
right?
but
okay, they were
was-
second
and
worst in the
Caleb
league last year in rushing yards
Yeah,
allowed.
but Caleb Branton is going to improve that a lot.
So Caleb Brantley is
Caleb
going to take
Brantley-
them from second worst in the league to all of a sudden.
No, but I think
Caleb
it's
Brantley
reputable.
was a first-round caliber player before the lawsuit came about, and he dropped all the way to the 6th round. They didn't even know if he was going to. They were having him on his team, but all
When
the
that
charges-
lawsuit dropped,
that lawsuit was completely dropped, and they got a steal.
they got a steal. They did.
He is a top. He is a first-round caliber defensive tackle, and I think he's going to improve that running defense a lot. And Miles Garrett's
so
not
you-
only a pass rusher; he's good at both.
So you
That's
don't
why
see
he's
any
the number
improvement
one.
with this team.
Maybe a little. I think they go from the second worst in rushing yards allowed to maybe the 8th worst in rushing yards allowed. But it's not something that
So you still don't want to pick up Cleveland.
I will tell you, if I have a running back, if I have 2 running backs on my team that I'm flip-flopping due to matchups, and they're playing the Cleveland, and one of them's playing the Cleveland Browns, he will be in my starting lineup that week.
That's what you think of defense. Andy, we thoughts on defense?
I'm not touching the defense.
Yeah, I'm not touching it either. All right, let's look at the kicker,
Cody Parkey.
Cody Parkey, and I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out.
He struggled.
No offense. How you going to get points?
He struggled last year. If I'm not mistaken, they brought in somebody else too this year. I think there's 2. They got two kickers on their roster right now, so there
Zay
could be
Gonzalez
some.
is the other one.
Yes.
Cody Parkey though, just what I mean, there's not a lot of attempts. I mean, he's not getting an opportunity to kick, and when he does, he's not really consistent.
All right, let's wrap this up. Andy, any final thoughts? Any general assumptions about this team?
For the most part, I'm staying away from Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree. There's not much here that I'm interested in. I'd skip the tight end, but that's just me. Nick?
Draft David Njoku.
Don't listen to these 2. Draft Isaiah Crowell, David Njoku, but avoid the defense.
Going back, I wouldn't draft the defense. I'm saying they'll be improved.
All right, I think we'll close it out. If you have any questions or comments, hit us up on
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram @FFPort.
If you have any challenges, anything you want us to cover, want us to be part of your fantasy football league, make sure you private message us or hit us on one of our social medias.
Send us a comment. Let us know what you think. Court is now adjourned.